name is Phil Goodenough.
His name is Goodenough, and my last name is Pop. And when we were in college, I invented this little saying that nobody ever forgot us. When you feel good enough, feel good enough. When you feel good enough, your dickie will pop, and that stuck. And you can say that to anybody, and they will remember your names.
I'm sure one of the things I do that bugs him is call to his attention the fact that he doesn't remember names of things. He says, I'm always right, and he never is, which is true. So I can't help it. I'm sure that bugs him a little bit, but he's good about it.
Because he's good at dates.
Well, since
that's
we've now met 50 years this month, it had to be 61.
Well, that's what I said. I didn't. I said 62. Well, it could have been 62.
It couldn't have been, because it wasn't.
Look, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
No.
and 5 is 11. And that would make it 62.
And that's why he thought it was 62.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was gay.
And I didn't think you were gay until you told me that night.
When I took him, after I went to the gay bars, which I talked to you about earlier, and one visit, Dickie came down and I had this relationship going with a man who lived in Georgetown in Washington, D.C.
I know the waiter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Roy was his name.
You're not supposed to say names on the thing.
He's
He's dead
with
now.
us anymore. So
Well, nevertheless. His
anyway,
relatives might object.
they're not with us either. So,
Oh.
so,
Oh, they're not.
Where are they?
Who are they? Get them out of the closet.
so
He was a nice guy, Roy.
he was, and we were invited for a dinner party at his house, and I got brave enough to tell Dickie we were going to go out to dinner with some guys that I had met, and so we went to the dinner party, and we had dinner, and
That's what I do.
had a really good time, and
it was a gay dinner.
when those guys were
But he came out. We both came out to one another that night, right after the dinner.
yeah, and how it happened was, I mean, I don't remember the real nitty-gritty details, but how it happened was when after dinner, and we had had a really nice time, and I don't know how many of us there were, 5, 6,
There were quite a few.
8 maybe.
Yeah, about 8.
And those guys went in to clean up and left Dickie and I in his living room. We were chatting, and I was sitting here, and Dickie was sitting over in a wing back chair, I think, over there. And
I'm fond of wingback chairs.
I said to him, well, I was really afraid because I didn't want to lose his friendship, but I also wanted to be me. And I said, so
Me.
are you okay with all this? Because obviously these guys were gay. And he just looked at me for a minute and said, you know how we've always said how much alike we are? And I said, yeah. What? It was just like that.
I was so butch.
I couldn't. And you still.
I just threw my feather boa over my shoulder and said, you know what?
It seems a long time ago, and it was, of course, but it's all very clear that night for me, or that particular.
It's one of those
Situation.
memories, permanent memories, because it was so important.
It was forced out, if you will, to my family when I was about 20 or 21 years old. My mother badgered, literally, a good friend of mine who she knew was gay because he couldn't help showing how gay he was. And
The fairy dust he had to clean up
Yes,
from the carpet every time he
was.
came over.
It was
You're
like-
talking about Richard, aren't you?
Richard, yeah.
Yeah.
and
He was another wonderful person, too.
So she just badgered him, and he actually broke down in tears because she was so insistent about
The
not-
cat o' nine tails helped.
Yeah. So
Whack.
that's how she found out.
Only one drinking.
She was very unhappy for a little while, and there was a whole bunch of things that ensued, which I won't go into, but finally my family knew when I was quite young, 20 or 21, like I said. His family...
By the way, he was very brave because he came out to all the students that we knew at Maryland U when it was, nobody ever did that. Nobody ever came out. And he just said, this is who I am, and take it or leave it. And everybody took it because they liked him so much, except for one of your best friends.
Walter.
Walter.
Very strange.
Which was very strange because Walter loved him dearly. And as soon as he found out he was gay, it was like kaboom.
Yeah, he would still be friendly to me, but I would say
Wasn't
he
the
was no
same
longer
anymore.
my friend in the same way.
But he's dead today.
He wasn't actually out to his family in the same way I was.
We never had sex together. We never have had sex together. And I think that the reason is like when we first met, we weren't out. And so we had a friendship that started as like anybody else would have a friendship with another man. And he just became tried and true and fast friend of mine over the years, and as the years went by I really never really thought about it. So no, we never did. It's possible.
I met his mother shortly after I met him. I was really close to her until she died, and she only died 5 years ago.
91. And I loved his mother too.
No,
They were
not 91.
90 and a half.
Oh, you mean, I thought you meant the year she died.
Oh no, her age was
Yeah.
91. So much for numbers.
For you too.
Yes.
When did we meet?
61.
He almost said 62.
I did.
I guess that's where he was really there for me. Probably several times along the ways in all the years we've known each other. I had a point in college where I was very unhappy and didn't know what I wanted to do, and I talked to him about it a lot, and he was actually in graduate school to University of Pittsburgh at the time, and he said, why don't you come up and stay with me for a while, and I'll see if I can get you a job at the university.
Were you, Dickie, were you, not in a jealous way, but were you,
You can edit that out.
were you, maybe I'll keep that part right there too.
Oh, great. Good.
He keeps adjusting himself, I
Right.
guess. We need ice cubes.
So it's like your nose running.
Yeah. Except I don't
Ball.
tell you your balls are down.
Well, you
I
don't
can't
know
see
it.
them. No, I
Right.
don't. I admired that. But everybody has different family arrangements, and everybody now thinks you don't come out, there's something wrong with you. And those days, they thought if you did come out, there was something wrong with you.
Like I said earlier, in those days, we were still classified as mentally ill, for God's sake.
If anything, I looked for a time to come out because he did, and I thought this was the right thing to do. But like I said, every time I was ready to spring it on people, it was like something else happened. Somebody died, or some other tragedy happened, and I thought, well, you can't pile this on top of that. But then I knew they knew. After I knew they knew, I wasn't
Then
thrilled.
it really didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
My parents knew about him, of course.
It was somebody who was in the chorus, and he needed help, and I just provided some support and told him what to do. Let him discover how to do it. And it didn't last very long, a couple of sessions.
And you just said,
Well, he knew I was gay, and
and you said, girl, you're in chorus.
Huh?
Did you just tell him, hello, you're in chorus?
What do you think?
This is the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington. I hope he knew it was a gay chorus.
First clue, you're in chorus. Second clue, you're in gay men's chorus.
Maybe
He's
you
a
are
little
gay.
slut.
Question about, have you thought about it?
What did you say?
I said I've thought about it. Nothing I've ever dwelled upon at all. I've thought periodically, what would life be like if you died? and it would be obviously it would be very strange because we do so much together. We depend on each other a lot. We're probably together doing something 4 days a week, dinner, if nothing else but dinner, and we go.
And when we're not together, it bothers both of us because I'll be down in D.C. for packing up
a
or
week
something,
or two,
and he'll call me like, "When are you coming back?" And I do the same thing, you know.
yeah.
So when we're not together, it's like
I
strange.
don't know what it would be like. It's hard to know what it would be like. It would be lonely, for sure. Very lonely, I think. And
so I don't have to worry about having poison in my drink.
no, you
Oh, good. I'll have another.
don't.
Yes.
No, that's fine. There's plenty more.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about having more.
No, you're not.
Nobody's drinking. He's
Drinking
the
is-
abstemious one.
I'm- Said that when we're all in Key West together, it's the most they laugh for those 2 weeks when we're all together. The rest of the year. So and of course
Because we're not there when they do.
I know. They laugh when we leave.
Yes. Can you believe that? Tee.
Look at those two. Oh my God.
Said that, and we a lot of all of our friends are like half our age or more. Of course, everybody is half our age or more, but
Who's still living?
who's still living. And yes, and he said he because we tried to figure out why is this true, and he said number one it's the humor, number two it's because they have the stereotypical ideas about what old people should be like, and we're not.
Yeah, that's true.
And the young people too. I mean, the 22-year-olds.
Well, that's what he's talking about.
So,
I
I mean,
think-
more than.
I think
older
when one thing that we've often talked about together is that when you get a lot older, you still don't feel that old in your head. Of course,
We're all 37.
Yeah, around there. I think I am 37.
That's what I know.
Yeah,
I am too.
yeah. But
I used to be 35 when I was in my 60s, but now that I'm in my 70s, I'm 37.
Yeah. So the one thing we notice is that, of course, younger people, especially much younger, don't even see you, and literally that's almost true.
They look-
They
yeah.
really don't see you. But once you get to know them, like you're saying, and chat with them and talk with them,
He
and
knows a
all-
lot about that.
Well, then they that barrier goes away. That age
We won't tell
barrier
that
goes
story
away.
on the camera because it'll be cut.
Right. That age barrier goes away, and then they want to do stuff with you. They want to go to dinner with you. They want to, they don't necessarily want to hop in bed with you, but okay. But it's fun having that.
The other thing about being older
Whole
is
thing
everybody's chicken. they're all good looking. Oh, they're 50. Wow, look at it. Whereas if you were 50, they have to be 22 or something.
The provincial queen decided that she couldn't continue to see how to
I
refill.
think I'm coming off as a queen, not a princess. Maybe.
Kidding.
Dickie is a great singer. He has a terrific voice.
Come, ye sons of earth, come all way. Come, ye sons of earth, this happy day. Tune all your voices and instruments play to celebrate this triumphant day. On this brightly, oh boy, on this bright. Sidren la mano dulce di ne non privar. Hillbilly, comb your hair and paint and powder. You sing loud and I'll sing louder. You act proud and I'll act prouder. Tonight we're setting the woods on fire. I'm your gal, you're my feller. All dressed up in your dress of yeller. You look swell, but I look sweller. Setting the woods on fire. I can't do Lady Gaga, but you've heard that so often.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. You're looking swell, Dolly. I can tell, Dolly. You're still growing. You're still going. You're still growing strong. I see your face wilting and your penis is wilting, and I hate you and I love you.
Can you
so long.
Can you act up for the camera?
Huh?
Can you like act up for the camera for me?
No, I couldn't act up for the camera. I'm sorry.
I think that. Oh,
Wow, 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 Dolly. Find me a vacant. Dolly. Dolly will never go away. If I see this on Facebook, I'm gonna kill you.
I said your voice, your singing. I thought you have a terrific voice. You have a terrific musical ability to sing. You love singing. You're always happy. You're always sort of a whistle while you work thing. When he's fixing dinner, he's humming and singing, and he knows lots of a zillion tunes, whether they're popular or operatic. He knows a lot of them, and he sings extremely well. I mean, he has a really good voice. And
Thank you. Exactly.
but what I didn't say,
They'll all be
and I think
leaving the
even
hall.
even more importantly, is your sense of humor.
I think that's my big thing.
I do too, and I didn't know earlier. I don't know why
It's God
that
given,
didn't
I
pop
think.
out to me.
You can't learn it. It's
Pardon
some
the,
kind of
the expression "pop out,"
GE.
but it didn't. But I would rate that as the number one. His ability.
I didn't have any number one, but I didn't think of your
number two.
the musical. Are you doing number two? That happens when you get old.
Well, at least I know.
I wonder why the couch was all stained.
Well, you think it's beige?
Jerry Falwell sends a note from hell, and the note says, "Where are all the gay people?" If I get sued
sex
by
with
that,
you down there.
it's just allegedly.
Almost always. Everybody thinks we're a couple.
Our relationship, we're just like married people. We don't have sex.
We don't have sex, just like most married people, but we're not married.
Except
We're
we
not.
like each other.
Almost always surprised when they find out that we're not. And if someone's particularly interested in me, I try to make a point that we're not a couple. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen too much anymore.
is that the one you blew?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, did Phil say you were a top or a bottom reversal?
I think he would have to say I was versatile.
And what did Phil? What did Dickie say you were?
He said I was definitely not a bottom.
Our biography.
And what is that title?
100 pounds and a hemorrhoid. He had a hemorrhoid, which prevented him
Had.
had a hemorrhoid. It's this big, no, which prevented him from enjoying anal sex. And I was 100 pounds overweight, and nobody wanted to have anal sex with me.
I couldn't find it.
Bar in Georgetown called the Georgetown Grill. And I had been going to gay bars for a little while by then, but not long. And it was Halloween. And I had heard about people dressing up in drag at Halloween, but I had never seen anyone in drag. And I was pretty shy. I was still in college, and I think this was 1964. And I went to the Georgetown Grill, and that was kind of bar that you'd just opened the door to the bar. It was a fairly small space, fairly brightly lit, and again, in those days, everyone had to sit down to drink, so everyone was seated. And I walked in, and as soon as you walk in, you're just like on stage. And all the queens started hooting and hollering and yelling and screaming, and I looked in sheer terror in that bar and ran out and ran all the way back to my car. Got in my car, I was going to drive back to school, and I thought, well, you're really being stupid. So I ended up going back to the bar and opening the door again and going in, and everyone applauded, and I stayed the night and had a great time. That was my first introduction to drag queens.
It'll be in the elderly shorts.
Elderly shorts, that's what we're wearing.
Well, I learned not to trust a fart a few years ago when, good Lord.
I've never really had that happen, because
It wasn't pretty.
Oh, I really haven't. But I could tell when it was,
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure, and I should have just not done it.
bothered and
Right.
it all.
I was still in college, but I had dropped out one semester, and I got called in for the draft, and I had to go in for my, I don't know what they call it, when you have to go down. I think it was in Fort Holabird, Baltimore. And you go in and you have to take a series of tests and a series of questions, really, that you have to answer. And I had just decided, since we were so persecuted in those days as a group of people, that as long as we were, and as long as we weren't accepted in the military or in society in general, I think it was those days, we were still classified as mentally ill by the medical community. So I just had made a decision that however the question was asked, if I had homosexual tendencies or if I'd ever had a gay experience of any kind, I was going to say yes. And I did. And then, of course, they take a look at all that before you leave, and then I got called into a room with a psychologist or a psychiatrist who was in the Army. And he asked me if that were true, and of course I said yes, of course it's true. And he asked me how long I had felt this way, and I basically said, almost as long as I can remember. And he asked me a couple of other questions related to it, and that was that. And I never had to go in the service because of it. Everybody thought I was crazy at the time, but also kind of brave about doing it. I didn't feel bad about doing that at all.
I can't think of a weird. I was always vanilla. My idea of S&M was Sunday with at the New York Times.
You think about sex like all the time, but couldn't do anything
Like
about
now.
it. Like now. Yeah, actually, still true. That's true.
That's another we have to tell.
That's
people.
another myth,
Yeah,
folks.
they still.
It's like you think it
It'll
all
still
goes
jump
away.
your bones.
It does not go away.
Well, they think
It's just harder to get.
Yeah, sex is really good, and especially if there's somebody else in the room,
Yes,
which there usually isn't.
but there usually isn't.
Doesn't make any difference.
It's still good. What would I want Dickie to say at my funeral if I die first? Besides that owes me $5. Oh gosh, I don't know. That's something, of course, I have never really thought about. I don't know. I hope he would think I was a really good friend, that we had many, many, many good times together, and I would hope he would think I was a generous person and as kind as I could be in my own way. And I would hope he said that he loved me.
At my funeral. Oh, look, he's still alive. Get him up. Thank you for watching our little fiasco. And Philip and I have been together for 50 years, and we're going to stay together for another 50 years, although the last 25 of those years we're going to be dust. But we might commingle in one big jar instead of little teeny jars separately.